What is up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Free Mind Podcast. I am your host, Dave Hurt, and I'm so glad to have you with us. So tonight, going to be a pretty short one, just going to touch on a few things. I am actively refreshing my computer here, waiting for the verdict for the Jussie Smollett trial. We know that... we got the results. All right, so we're going to be starting off with that change of plans here. So this is just in, updated 1 minute ago. Jury finds Jussie Smollett guilty of staging hate crime against himself. The jury in Jussie Smollett's trial has a blah, 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 blah. That's not an update. Found guilty. All right, so all I have right now, jury finds Jussie Smollett guilty on first 5 counts and not guilty on last one. So he is guilty on 5 counts and not guilty on 1. I wonder why that is. Let's see what else we can find here. Let's see, guys. Wow. So now I wonder what kind of punishment he's going to get for this. I'm just grabbing my cell phone over here. So, wow. All right. I'm sure Twitter is blowing up. Let's see what people have to say. I got like several group chats. People are like, he's guilty. Oh boy, man. I don't know if that's good that my friends are so like nerdy and into current events or not. I'm just replying to some of the guys here. Okay, let's check out Twitter. The Twittersphere. What is going on here? Let's see if we can get any more updates other than guilty on 5 counts. Now it's going to be interesting to see. I was thinking about this earlier. Oh, Hodge twins, Jussie Smollett guilty. Guess Kamala Harris was wrong again. Defiant L's, do your thing. Oh man, Hodge twins. Love those guys. By the way, at one point they said they'd come on this show. I'm going to have to blow you all up some more just to force your hand here. Tim Poole, Smollett guilty on first 5 charges. Yep. Let's see if we can find any other info. Of course, this is all going to be old to you guys because you'll know by the time you listen to this, but that's okay. You can enjoy the experience with me here. Oh, looks like Blair White is on Joe Rogan. That's cool. Okay. Don't really see any updates aside from the fact that he's guilty. So all right. This is a pretty epic tweet by Ben Shapiro. Tonight, Jussie Smollett can rest knowing that his attacker has been convicted. He's always so sharp with it. All right. I won't make you guys sit here and listen to me read tweets. But yeah, that's what is happening. Okay, so Jussie Smollett guilty of staging hate crime against himself. So now we'll have to see what the sentencing is. I believe that's the proper term. I'm not sure. Wow. Okay. I wasn't sure I was sure I knew how I felt considering all the evidence, but I just was not confident in what the verdict would be. So I'm kind of surprised, to be quite honest. Black Lives Matter, of course, put out a statement saying that they supported Jussie because they don't trust the cops. But, my response to that, of course, is like, well, on the other side is 2 black men. He's accusing 2 black men of doing something to him that has nothing to do with him and the cops. So if you're going to take the side based on racial justice, I mean, there's 2 black men on one side and 1 black man on the other side. Anyway, trying to make sense of what Black Lives Matter is saying is a full-time job, and I think people just don't care anymore. Let's refresh this one more time, see if there's anything new here. Nope, nothing else. So all we know is that he's guilty on 5 counts. All right, so I got a text message yesterday from some of my friends sending me a news article basically saying, look at this crap. And it was a Business Insider article. And look, Business Insider, we know not a ton of integrity there with the whole Dave Portnoy thing and going after him and attacking him. But nonetheless, this is the article. Its email leak reveals the surprising friendship between Hunter Biden and his, in quotes, buddy, Tucker Carlson, says report. So I was like, holy crap, what is this? Tucker and Hunter are buddies? What? So it goes on to elaborate here a little bit. The Daily Mail published emails that reveal a close friendship between Hunter Biden and Tucker Carlson. Biden wrote a college recommendation for Carlson's son, and Carlson intervened in an unflattering news story about Biden. The intimate interactions appear to be at odds with Carlson's public attitude toward Biden. Okay, so this is the crux of this article with Business Insider. There's a lot to unpack here, and at first, I will admit, I was pretty reactionary, like, what the heck, they're just all crooked, they're all in cahoots together. But then when you start to read this a little more and dive into it, the first thing you realize is this wasn't present day. This was in the past. So this was back in, I believe it's 2014. So 7 years ago, Tucker apparently had Hunter write a college recommendation letter to Georgetown for his son, which is interesting. You think that Tucker would be pretty well connected to a lot of influential people and that Hunter Biden wouldn't be his top pick to write a recommendation letter for his son. So I have a lot of questions surrounding that, not the least of which being why Hunter. But it could have been that, I don't know, Hunter knew someone at Georgetown or Tucker's kid did some kind of internship that Hunter was involved with. Who knows, right? Like, we don't know any details surrounding it. All we know is Hunter Biden wrote a letter of recommendation for Tucker Carlson's kid to get into Georgetown University. Again, this was back in 2014, so 7 years ago. And this is one of the things that I really despise about some of these news media outlets is they'll take something from the past, sort of juxtapose it with something in the present day and make a big story out of it. Well, things do change. And after I read this and I took a little bit of time to kind of like chill out and think it through, I've had a lot of friends who I was friends with, and then they turned out to be pieces of you-know-what. So I think that obviously Tucker has been very critical. Tucker has been very critical of Hunter. I'm having trouble with Tucker and Hunter, I guess, because they're both like ER names with a U in there. Anyway, he's clearly been very critical of him and the laptop and a lot of the shady stuff that Hunter has done in present day. And that doesn't, in my opinion, that doesn't make him somehow a hypocrite. I mean, he was friends with the guy in the past. Some stuff has come to light, and he's, despite that friendship, still called him out. I think if anything, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, it could show some journalistic integrity. I mean, even if you're friends with someone and they do some messed up stuff, it's your role as a journalist to call them out. Now, who knows? We need more information. I think nobody should jump to conclusions at this point, because you guys got to remember also, Tucker worked at MSNBC for years back in the day. So Tucker knows a lot of people, and that whole Washington world, I mean, they all know each other. This isn't some like crazy new discovery that someone on the left and someone on the right might know one another. And I mean, I don't even really know if Hunter is on the left per se. I think he's just a Democrat politician's son. I don't know, what his actual political ideology is. But nonetheless, the Business Insider article goes on to say that there was another email exchange from August 2015. So again, we're talking coming up on 6 years ago, revealed that Carlson appeared to have intervened in a Daily Mail news story about Biden using a website for seeking extramarital affairs. Now, first off, the story ran. So Tucker didn't stop the story from running. He didn't intervene in it. Turns out what he did was he essentially called up someone he knew at the Daily Mail and cursed them out for the tactics that they used. So basically what they did was they showed up at Hunter's house when he wasn't there, and they told his daughter that Hunter had been unfaithful to her mom, Hunter's wife. So I don't care who you are. That's a messed up thing to do, right? It's one thing to say that Hunter was using this website, Ashley Madison, and seeking extramarital affairs, but it's another thing to show up at the guy's house when he's not there, tell his daughter, like, what did his daughter do to deserve that, right? Tell his daughter that he did something skeezy to her mom, his wife. So that was essentially, and remember, this was back almost 7 years ago, when presumably who knows what Tucker or anyone knew about the other sketchy stuff Hunter was doing, and apparently they were friends. So what happened was when Hunter told Tucker about this, he knows the editor in the London office of the Daily Mail. He called him up and lost his, to quote him, lost my shit on the editor over there. He claims the London office. Oh, wait, sorry. I don't know if it was the editor in the London office or the London office forced this editor to do it. So either way, Tucker in the email back to Hunter says, he's a pig. I told him so. Okay. Look, I mean, it was a pretty terrible thing to do. I don't care what side you're on. If you're being objective and saying, like, it's messed up to show up at someone's house when they're not there and tell their kid that they're cheating on their mom, right? So, and again, the story still ran. It looks like Tucker just called him up and told him that it was messed up the way they went about it. So again, this looks like Business Insider trying to make something out of nothing. Again, though, we need to see where all of this goes. But I felt like I should address it because obviously it's at face value. It sounds like a huge deal. Like Tucker and Hunter are friends. Oh my God. And of course, my buddies who I talked to about a lot of these things, it was sent in our group chat and I was like, well, I got something to talk about on the podcast tomorrow. But Tucker actually did make a statement about that one scenario. And here's something before I mention that. Biden has actually described Tucker in the past, I guess during this time, as a nice guy, but said that they completely disagree on everything. So there you go. I mean, and I'd be a big hypocrite if I said this was wrong, because my whole thing is we can disagree and still be friends. So here's folks who are at political odds with one another, but they're still friends. Granted, we don't know what Tucker knew about any of the sketchy stuff Hunter was doing. If he was doing sketchy things at this time, I think he would have been with everything, all the Ukraine stuff and all the rest. But, okay, here's Tucker's statement on the Daily Mail thing. And it's basically what I just paraphrased, but here's Tucker's direct quote. Again, this is from the Business Insider's article. Tucker said, quote, Daily Mail reporter showed up at his house when he wasn't home and informed one of his daughters that her dad was cheating on her mom. I don't care if it's Hunter Biden or not. That's awful. So this is a quote from Tucker present day. So it was the Washington editor. Quote, I knew the Daily Mail's Washington editor at the time, so I called and told him I thought he was a pig for doing that, and that's still my opinion. So there you go. I mean, essentially, it's just no matter whether you like Hunter or not, if they did some messed up stuff to him, he's saying that's what it was, and that's still his opinion. So the whole college application thing, the whole recommendation letter, I don't know. That's kind of weird. I guess we have to see where that goes, but to me, it looks like Tucker and Hunter were friends back 6-7 years ago or more. Obviously, some things have come to light about Hunter's behavior and some sketchy things he's done. Tucker, as a journalist, as a reporter or whatever, political commentator, has been critical of that. And I think that's essentially the story right there. And I don't think that that's weird. Like I said, I've had friends that I had to essentially denounce later on. Turned out they did some messed up things. I think that that's all that's going on here. But let's see where it goes. We'll see what happens with all of that. Anyway, I told my friends I would talk about it on the show. So there you go. Business Insider article on Tucker Carlson and Hunter Biden, who were apparently friends and aren't really anymore. That's for sure, because Tucker's been very critical about Hunter. Now, I told you guys this was going to be a short show. I think we'll do one more thing here. And then I have actually got to go grocery shopping and get some other stuff done. But I wanted to read you guys this this Twitter thread. And now I'm going to be mad if I can't find it. So let's see. All right. Bear with me, folks. I had this thing pulled up, and then I jumped on here to look at information on Jussie Smollett. And, oh, here we go. Got it. Found it. Yes. Okay. So this is a Twitter thread that I'm going to read to you all. Just read it to you verbatim, because I have been, ever since this whole COVID thing started for the past couple years now, crazy to think it's been a couple years, there's been this behavior that has essentially emerged with the folks who are fanatical about vaxxing, masking, quarantining, mandating, all of the control measures, all of the measures that are imposed upon the people in the name of, quote, keeping them safe. And it's been this obsession and this fanaticism that has bordered on, or maybe crossed the threshold of, being religious behavior. And I've thought a lot about how to frame that, but it's certainly been something that I've noticed. And when you draw parallels between religious fanatics and these extreme pro-vaxxers, not folks who are like, I got vaccinated because it was my choice and you live your life, but no, the people who are like, the unvaxxed should die, they're awful people, you should wear 17 masks, and if you don't, you're a terrible human, those kind of people. You all know who I'm talking about. You know the types. Now, this individual on Twitter, at Amanda Left Coast, who I just followed today, she put it really, really well on Twitter, and I'm just going to read it to you guys verbatim. So check her out, at Amanda Left Coast. And this is going to be how I'll wrap the show up. Get a drink of my delicious energy drink here. Satisfying. Okay, folks. For the purpose of this thread, I've created a new word to describe the vax zealous who want to mandate everything and jab everyone, by force if necessary. Vaxism. This is not to be confused with generally pro-vax or ambivalently vaccinated people. I think the parallels between vaxism and Christianity are much starker and more direct than comparisons between Christianity and wokeness. For example, vaxists believe COVID is sin leading to death, and the vax is the savior. There is no other name by which you may be saved. Not ivermectin, not natural immunity, not your low-risk factors up to including the fact that you're 5 years old. Vax alone equals solo Cristo. Any rejection of the vax is a rejection of salvation, but it's bigger than you. Moral implications are severe. The vax was free, a gift. How can you reject the gift freely offered for the salvation of mankind? Do you hate humanity? Are you selfish? Stupid? A fool? The vaxxed are going to heaven. By heaven, I mean Hamilton on Broadway. Unvaxxed will be cast out into the outer darkness of Manhattan, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Get vaccinated equals get saved. If you're vaxxed and you're not evangelizing, are you really pro-science? It's dubious. Only the evangelical vaxxed are demonstrating their devotion and love for humankind. I've never seen you tweet, "Get vaccinated," so I'm not sure about you. Until everyone is vaxxed, the science cannot set the captives free and restore the world to its former pre-fall of mankind state. So if you're not getting vaxxed, you're holding us all back from the coming millennial utopia of our pandemic-free destiny. Public announcements are required. It's like baptism. You need to publicly confess with your mouth that vax is the Lord. It's not enough to privately believe it. Anti-vax equals anti-Christ. Ultimately, if you doubt or reject the vax, you're going to get what's coming to you. By faith, you are saved. It is a gift from science with a capital S. But if you cause others to doubt the vax, woe to you. You're a heretic and worthy of curses. Burn the witch. This entire belief system for the vax zealots is just Christianity. To recap, vax equals Jesus, God equals science, virus equals sin, vaxxed equals saved, and unvaxxed equals the damned. Merry Vaxmas and God boost us, everyone. And with that, my friends, keep your minds free.